Friends, I create every video for several hours a day. Let's get 500 likes on this video. Until the streets of London were completely taken over by motor traffic, children played games almost anywhere there was a space, and in this case, a wall, to serve as a goal. Ice cream, known in the 19th century as hokey or hokey pokey, was popularized by Italian immigrants. The huge Sears Big Book catalog production, Chicago, Illinois, early 20th century, C. 1902-1907. My grandfather at the glove factory, April 3rd, 1956. He would cut the leather to shape and send it up to be sewn. A fisherman in the 1920s. Life at Smith College in 1948. Vintage photos of female students in Northampton, Massachusetts. My grandmother always bagged a deer before her brothers did. Eagle River, Wisconsin. Circa 1938. 41 Hotel, Bar and Cafe in Big Piney, Wyoming. Carl Stormer was a 19-year student when he took these photos on the streets of Oslo, Norway. He walked around with a secret spy camera. What a privilege it is to see a glimpse of how the everyday person went about their lives over 100 years ago. A Boy and a Man with a Grindstone, c. 1908, Santa Clara, California. Soviet soldiers celebrating the victory over Germany at the Reichstag building in Berlin, May 1945. Silent movie production. Western star Harry Carey confronts a villain while filming the 1916 film Love's Lariat, as Universal Tour guests observe the action. Fruit shop. Three peasants on the stairs at the house. The Waseda University baseball team in Japan in 1925. Baseball was active in Japan, well, before U.S. occupation after World War II. A colonial expedition force practicing how to react to threats in the Belgian Congo in 1900. A couple vehicles attempted to cross a flooded road with disastrous results during the Great Mississippi River flood in Tennessee, U.S. in 1927. Women wearing high-class fashion of the time in London, England in 1911. Three Mexican women, one musician and two dancers, posed for a picture in L.A., U.S. in 1936. A couple swapped clothes to pose as each other for some fun in the Netherlands in 1905. A man pours tea to a French commander and pro-French soldier during the First Indochina War in Vietnam in 1953. People hit the dance floor at Whiskey 8 Go-Go Club in L.A., U.S. in 1964. Athleta Van Huffelen, a strong woman in the circus, poses in the U.S. in 1905. Women swimming in Essex, England in 1919. A man prepares for a ritual dance in Kenya in 1902. Princess Victoria Louise of Prussia in 1908. A street performer in a cowboy costume in Mexico City, Mexico in 1961. A woman being watched and harassed in Mexico City, Mexico in 1950. There are 5 pictures of her being watched by men everywhere she went. Black soldiers known as Buffalo Soldiers Guard captured Spanish prisoners during the Spanish-American War in Cuba in 1898. Veterans from the Civil War, Spanish-American War, and World War I attend a ceremony with thousands of civilians to dedicate this memorial statue on the lawn of the Lucas County Courthouse in Ohio, U.S. in 1927. A Maori family standing alongside a carved figure of the Maori chief Tukaitawa, and each person holding a carved wooden Maori weapon in New Zealand in 1915. Young woman dressed for an evening out, Detroit, 1968. Cairo Mary, bouncer at Shanghai Reds, 5th and Beacon in San Pedro, California, escorts a customer to the door. 1953. This is my great-aunt in front of their house in Boston, 1964. The house was bought on a milkman's salary. Adelaide Springett, who was so ashamed of the state of her boots, she took them off. Stand for a photograph in London, 1901. My grandfather and friends in the Amach internment camp in Colorado, circa 1942. He was about 15 when this photo was taken. He passed away last month at 94. A young man demonstrating against low pay for teachers, CA, 1930. I left school to earn $21 a week. My teacher's pay is $17.78 a week. I went my whole life not seeing photos of my Mexican family until today. Hope you enjoy these photos of my family in Nayarit, Mexico, Indiana, the early 1900s as much as I do. Young Dutch mother with her baby in a wooden pram. Netherlands, 1929. 2 women at a bar, New York City, 1945. Little girl roaring at a stuffed grizzly bear at the Sportsman's Show in the Chicago Coliseum. Chicago, Illinois, 1967. The fate and feet of 3 Chinese girls, a barefooted slave, a girl with bound feet, and a Christian with unbound feet, ca. Early 1900s. Rural American Life in the First Half of the 20th Century by Mike Disfarmer, whose life was a mystery and whose work was only discovered posthumously. People posing with a dead crocodile on the Isle of Pines in Cuba in 1907. 2 men dressed as women showing off some unique fashion in Paris, France in 1910. The Italian cycling team at the Summer Olympics in Antwerp, Belgium in 1920. The U.S.-Mexico border in 1930. Zoom in. A train from the Canadian Pacific Railway goes over the newly built bridge over Mountain Creek in British Columbia, Canada in 1890. Young ladies lose their mind when Elvis Presley takes the stage in Philadelphia, U.S. in 1957. Women casting their votes in Syria in 1957. People at the beach in Florida, U.S. in 1905. Women goofing off in England in 1891. A Sami family in Finland in 1936. A Boko man from the Congo with his head marked using scarification in 1930. People waiting for the train in Sydney, Australia in 1906. The different reactions of two suspected prostitutes being photographed during a police raid in Los Angeles, U.S. in 1951. Two Americans pose with a Chinese man and woman, far left and far right. A Japanese woman and her baby, center, and a Filipino woman and her baby in the Philippines in 1902. A man selling sponges in Vienna, Austria in 1904. A woman stands by her home in the Arkhangelsk province of the Russian Empire in 1910. Troops preparing to take part in World War I from British West Africa pose for a picture in 1914. Women having their stockings painted on in London, England in 1941. A Zulu tribesman pulls his employer in South Africa in 1932. The picture was taken in color. Portrait of an elegant lady in black in Queensland, Australia, 1880s. Young Indigenous woman holding a baby at train station, circa 1930. Two kids walking barefoot to school, Claiborne County, Tennessee, 1940. A young couple took a selfie on a self-timer on their camera, 1959. Starting a 3-day hike through Brooks Range, Alaska, 1974. Windmill Theatre Girls, London, 1950. The discovery of an ancient Maya statue deep within the jungles of Honduras, 1885. Alfred Maudslay at Chichen Itza, Mexico, 1900. For Boys at the Rocking Stone at Island McGee, County Antrim, 1870. Mall's Gap, Kerry, 1910. Lifeboat Men, 1914. Girls of the Ursuline Convent in Waterford pose in their gymnasium, 1908. The McCoy Family of Waterford, 1901. Ireland, 1900. A family cuts turf near Ballymena, 1885. A young member of the Irish Guards at Waterford Barracks with the regiment's mascot, an Irish wolfhound, 1917. Workers at a mine in Knockmahone, County Waterford, 1906. J. Morgan's Butcher Shop on Broad Street, Waterford, 1916. Crew members of the Norwegian vessel the Mexican, which ran aground on the Carrick Islands. The feathered lifeboat Helen Blake attempted to rescue them during a storm, but was destroyed with the loss of 9 of the 14 lifeboatmen. 1914. Men on horseback in front of Kate Kearney's cottage in Kerry, 1900. Women sell tourist trinkets and books on Finn Mac Cumhale's wishing chair at the Giant's Causeway, County Antrim, 1900. A Royal Welsh Fusilier with the regimental goat and his strap-on crest, 1887. Italian family en route to Ellis Island. Sometimes the number of immigrants waiting to be transferred was so great that they waited for several days and nights before the little ferry boat could bring them to the island. Martha Jane Cannery, 1852 to 1903, or Calamity Jane, was an American frontierswoman and the subject of many tall tales and Wild West legends. In the 1870s, 20-mule team wagons began hauling boricks across the Great Basin Desert to the nearest railroad. Cattle drives typically lasted 3 months, so cowboys often bathed at the end of the trail before heading into a cowtown to celebrate. In Greenwood County, Kansas, these immigrants stopped to eat lunch next to their wagon. Women of the Evans Spring 4-H Club in Anderson County restore a bed frame. The Great Depression. Winners of the International Pageant of Pulchritude in Galveston pose for a photo. Miss Universe holds down the center, wearing a crown to distinguish herself. Pearl Brewing Company flew cases of beer all over the country shortly after Prohibition ended. A man gets baptized near Mineola. A Coryell County farmer sits in his rocking chair and reads a magazine about farming. Employees of Imperial Sugar Company load cargo onto a ship in the Galveston Wharf. Members of the Joint United States and Mexico International Park Commission stand on the South River in the Chizos Mountains. Employees of the South Texas Cotton Oil Company weigh bales of cotton. In 1942, a British pilot is stranded in the open sea, anxiously waiting for rescue while taking refuge on an inflatable raft. His salvation comes in the form of a Supermarine Walrus aircraft, swiftly dispatched by the Air Sea Rescue Service. During World War II, although the importance of cavalry had waned, horses continued to be used throughout the North African campaign, as shown in this photograph. For centuries, homosexuality has been taboo,